Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to give you the crucial insights fast. And today we're doing an urgent look at something that's really got global markets, well, pretty tense. That's the impending Trump tariff deadline.
That's right. We're drawing mainly from excerpts from Trump tariffs, markets on edge.
And our mission really is simple. We want you to get the core details quickly, understand why markets are so, on edge, basically help you cut through all those headlines flying around.
Yeah, and what's absolutely critical here is just how soon this could happen. Markets are really holding their breath because we're coming right up on July 9th.
July 9th, okay.
Yeah, that's the big deadline for President Trump's new tariff notifications. So the official announcements about these new taxes on imports, it's not just another date. It's a real moment of, economic suspense, I guess you could say.
Okay, so tariffs, notifications by the 9th. What kind of scale are we actually talking about here? According to the source material, I mean. These aren't just small tweaks, right?
Oh, definitely not. The proposals, they could range anywhere from, say, 10%, which is already noticeable, all the way up to a, frankly, staggering 70%.
70. Wow.
Yeah. And it's not like it's aimed at just one country. The expectation is that this will be broad. We're looking at potentially 10, maybe 12 major trading partners being affected.
10 to 12.
And, if you think about what 70% means, it's not just a number. It's potentially an economic earthquake, right? It could force whole supply chains to just reroute.
Yeah.
Almost overnight. It could fundamentally change trade relationships for a huge chunk of the global economy.
And what makes this even more complicated, as our source points out, is that it's not happening in a vacuum, is it? This is coming right after that huge $3.4 trillion spending bill. I mean, that's a massive amount of government money already flowing. So how do those two things interact, the spending and this trade uncertainty?
That's a really key question. It raises big concerns about just overall economic stability. When you put together a massive spending package like that, with the kind of deep uncertainty that comes from these widespread, potentially very high tariffs, you create a very complex, potentially volatile mix.
Right.
So the market nervousness isn't just about the tariffs themselves. It's about how they might clash or interact with these existing fiscal policies that are already pushing a lot of money into the system. It's that kind of cumulative effect, maybe a double whammy, you could call it.
Yeah.
Big spending plus potential trade disruption. That's what really makes markets uneasy. It makes businesses pause and rethink things.
Yeah. It sounds like the global economy is doing a bit of a tightrope walk right now, just waiting to see what happens. So let's wrap this deep dive up. What are the absolute key takeaways for you?
I think the main points are pretty clear. First, that date, July 9th. That's the critical deadline for any new tariff notifications. Keep an eye on that. Second, the sheer scale. These aren't minor adjustments. Could be 10%, could be 70%, potentially hitting 10 to 12 major trading partners. Very broad. And third, remember the context. This is all happening right after that huge $3.4 trillion spending bill is passed. So those two things together, they're really fueling a lot of market uncertainty and maybe some real apprehension too.
Absolutely. And with global markets already feeling a bit cautious, it leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? What could the ripple effects actually be if we see these broad, high tariffs come into play? Not just for international economic stability, which is huge in itself, but what about for the everyday things you buy? And what does it signal about, how interconnected our global economy really is if these trade ties can shift so dramatically, so quickly? Definitely something significant to think about as we watch this all unfold.